welcome to Idiot Savants podcast number 4. Oh, yeah! We are in here! We had a lot of technical difficulties before jumping in. It's all good. We made it. And I actually didn't even prepare for this podcast today because I was swamped at work, and as soon as I left work, I went straight to band practice. I'm actually playing a show this weekend on Friday with a band called Allegheny Drive. And if you're not familiar with them, you should definitely familiarize yourself with them because they're going to be the next big thing in the world of music. We got to start over. Son of a bitch. And there we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's start again. Here we are, podcast number freaking 4. Sorry, we've had technical difficulties.
They're getting better.
Oh my God. We started the podcast and we... Yeah, this is why we're not live, because
That's exactly why.
we keep messing up the podcast here. My God. But it's all good.
You have to introduce the new face.
Yes, tonight we have a special guest all the way from Arkansas. Awkward? No, just kidding. Malorie Sanders, my sister, ladies and gentlemen. My sister, and I want to add a cheer track.
Yeah, I gotta be clapping there. People just freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Actually seen Mallory in a long time, so it's very good to see you. I think her husband's also in the room, and I've never met him. So,
Well,
also nice to meet you.
Let's meet Bryce. Bring him out, ladies and gentlemen. Here is Bryce, and he is shirtless. Oh, yeah.
Shirtless.
Sexy.
Daddy like.
I've been watching every single podcast.
Oh.
And, I've always been #1 fan of everything I do.
Thanks.
That's why we love you. That is...
Yeah.
Mallory's been there from the start for everything.
From the beginning. OG.
Always...
It happened.
Mallory was always in the front row. She knew all the lyrics. She was the first.
Still do.
That's amazing. But glad.
But yeah, so I watched Ozarks
Oh
and
my
I
goodness.
finished.
Bernie, did you finish it?
Bernie finished.
I did.
That last episode, guys. Come on.
So did y'all think he was gonna drown the baby? I mean, spoiler alert.
You gotta say spoiler alert before you say anything.
It's my first time.
2 minutes.
We
for the
mess
next
that
2
up
minutes,
every
spoiler
time. It's
alert.
okay.
Yes, I thought he was gonna drown the damn baby. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
That
I
would have
was
changed.
like sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I was like, you freaking psycho. I was like screaming at the TV.
Yeah, I don't think I could have watched it after that if that happened.
And then he pulled him out, and I was like, you freaking crazy bastard.
Still
I was
crazy.
so mad.
Like, yeah. Still crazy. No matter whether he drowned him or not, but
I also didn't see the Mexican guy getting shot in the head, dude.
spoiler alert.
I told him, spoiler, before. Alright, whatever.
Bro, how
No,
crazy
I
is
didn't
that?
hear you say it.
How crazy was that part?
That was really crazy, by the way.
I freaked out.
Like, I was like,
what
that lady's
is
talking
happening?
shit, you better do something. He turns around and his face is gone. I was like, oh, shit.
He said something about, like, rednecks, and she's like, what'd you say? He's like, I said, just shotgun. It's a good show.
Because he was like the man, you know, like the baddest guy around. Yeah. Nope. It's the crazy lady.
Oh, right? I thought the big bad Pablo Escobar type figure would stick around, you know? Not today.
No, and now, but like next season, I guess his boss will get involved.
Yeah.
Because I guess he's not technically the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with how brilliant y'all think Jason Bateman is.
Yeah, he's great.
I don't ever get tired of watching him act in anything.
Yeah, he plays
took me by
funny
surprise.
characters so well. Oh yeah, and then
In this
drama.
show, like it took me by surprise how well he can do drama.
But I still love his dry humor, even in like serious roles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
Awesome.
But yeah, what do you got, Nate?
let's see what else happened.
This is him trying to shift right here.
I have something.
Uh-oh,
Okay,
Mallory
go
wants to
ahead.
go.
Go ahead.
This is because I wanted to say something, but it was in my last comment. It was already way too long, which is why I thought of like the whole live idea. Because there were so many things I wanted to say during the whole thing, and anyway.
Well, now you can. Go ahead.
But at the end of one of the videos, Nate put in a little clip at the end, like talking about friendship.
Yeah.
Was that the second video?
Yeah.
And he was asking, like, opinions of what people thought of, you know, if they thought the same thing. So basically you were saying that you think friendship is not just based on, like, having to talk every single day and all that. So basically I just want to tell you that I agreed with you, that I viewed friendship in the same way. That I have all different types of friendships. I have ones from like childhood friendships. I have some that were just for like seasons, but I still consider all those my friends, like even now. And so sometimes I'm like, even like if I meet new friends, I tell them like you're stuck with me, whether you like it or not. Like I'll be in your life forever. I'll randomly pop up even if we haven't talked for a while. Or if it's been like 6 years, and here we are.
Yeah, so the reason I did that was because it's like somebody that the three of us know, but they like have a couple times over the past couple years like freaked out on me because I don't communicate with them on, I assume they meant like a daily or weekly basis. And I finally just blocked this person from every form of communication that I have because it was just weird. Like they would call me drunk, screaming, and I'm like, I haven't seen you since I was in my early 20s. But that's why I said that, because like I agree. I think you can be friends with people and not necessarily have to see them all the time. Like I would consider.
Well, I think if you're an adult, that's just not possible.
It's not possible to talk to somebody, and if you have kids.
Exactly, that too. It's too much.
So so I was like, that had actually happened. I was like, what in the world what is this? And I thought maybe I was doing the friend thing wrong. Like I'm like, well, maybe that's why I don't have a lot of friends, because nobody wants to be my friend because I don't talk to them.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I just think that's like true adult friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday was not.
Put that input in there.
Yeah, I had a couple people text me that I knew, and they were like, oh, and like Nick Kaufman private messaged us.
Yeah.
And said that he agreed as well. Yesterday was 9/11. Switch over to that topic. Nice segue.
Yes, very nice.
I was thinking about, like, I know everybody always does this, but I don't know. I mean, we haven't obviously talked about it, but just kind of like, what were you doing that day? What was going on?
You want me to go?
I was in school.
Yeah.
I was in
I
junior
remember
high. I was in math class.
Go ahead, Mal. I'll let you tell your story.
I, that's it. I was in math class, and I didn't even know what the Twin Towers were,
Yeah.
and that's just. I just remember it being very eerie, quiet on the ride home, and everything just felt kind of like slow motion for some reason. Like, because there's just a different spirit about everything. Just the unknown. And everyone was listening to the radio, watching TV. It was just a quiet in our town.
Yeah.
I didn't
Go ahead.
Realize that
the magnitude, I think, of the situation at the age that I was until after.
Right.
Barney, where were you?
Obviously I was in school too, and like Mallory said, I wasn't aware of what the Twin Towers were or what they stood for. I didn't understand, I guess, the poignant, just the situation. Like, I just remember just seeing these towers getting smacked with planes. And I'm just like, wow, that is crazy. But I didn't understand, like I said, how crazy it really was. Like, I even tried to, like, leave school and go skateboard with friends afterwards. Just because my friends were just, let's go skateboard. I'm like, all right. And my parents said, no, you can't go. This is a very important, serious thing that's happening right now. And we need to go home. I'm like, okay. And so we ended up going to some people's homes to watch what was going on TV, and we pretty much did that the rest of the day. But it didn't hit me till after, like Mallory said. You know, like you don't realize until you start, you know, once the news came rolling in all at once, and just like you just see how many people actually died, why they died, and why we were attacked, and who attacked us, and everything just like. And then, like I would say, like a year later, like the year anniversary of it, like I played in the school band, and we did like a tribute, and we just were watching all the video clips and stuff. That's when it really hits. You're like, wow, that was one of the biggest, saddest things to ever happen to our country, and it was a very sad moment, I guess. I don't know. Where were you?
I think
Where are
even
you, Nate?
now, like, now that we're older and we know the significance of everything, like, yesterday, I had just a lot of emotion over it, you know, just listening to a lot of the stories. My in-laws are in New York right now, and they were there for the ceremony, and they were showing us videos and live clips and stuff, and they actually got a video of one of the firemen or officers, or he was telling his story about that day, and it was just very emotional. And I think even, you know, all these years later, I feel a lot more towards it now than I think I did the day of when it actually happened.
Yeah.
It's in retrospect, I feel.
Yeah, I just remember to like all those points. I think at the time it was serious. Like you knew it was serious because they sent everyone home from school.
Yeah.
And well, eventually they did. We watched it on TV, and then like once it was done or whatever, they sent everyone home. And then I just think at the time, I mean, to be honest, it was like, oh, we got to go home early, you know. Like, but then as the years go on, obviously it becomes more and more of a significant moment in our, like a turning point for our nation, because I think as a country we were really naive to all those types of politics, like who was in our country, who we let in, like security, those types of things. All those types of things changed in an instant because of that situation. So, but yeah, I think now I look back and obviously, yeah, you see those types of memorials or the videos and a lot of emotion there. And the kid, like my son and your son, will grow up in a world where that didn't happen. Like it already happened. Like we experienced that in real time. So it's something that we won't take for granted, I guess is what I meant. But yeah, so I mean it's crazy to think how long ago it's been, because it just means we're getting old. That's what it means.
That's part of it. Dang. 30 years old right here. What the heck?
I think it has something to do with we kind of understand more now what it means for someone to give their lives. Like when you're a kid, you don't really understand that whole thing fully. At least I took it kind of for granted, almost, in a way.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll try to segue to something a little lighter. So question.
Love it.
It's a question for you two, because it's scary movie season.
Ugh. No.
And I hate scary movies. They're the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Bernie is weird and likes scary movies, so
So
and so
Did
is
you
my.
not see a scary movie recently?
No.
Bernie?
I was supposed to go, and it was sold out this past weekend. Like, we couldn't get in, so they went later.
I heard it's really good.
I've heard that too. I've heard it is.
I'll just continue hearing that because I will never see it.
Really?
It's not happening. No.
I heard it was kind of funny. So I'm like, all right, well.
This guy, I don't know where at. I want to say Texas because it sounds like something would happen to Texas. But this guy went to a movie theater and he got there early. And he got there and there was a guy sitting in the theater in full clown mask.
This is Pennywise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like him. He looked freaky. Yeah.
I would immediately leave. I'm not. I wouldn't have gone to the movie, but if I show up and he's there, I'm for sure not seeing that movie.
Especially,
I
like,
just see that.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be a little bit controversial after all of the clown stuff that was happening earlier in the year.
Yeah, well, now I'm sure more of it's going to happen, and then they'll just be like, yeah, it's just copying it.
You're right.
Someone wearing their stuff.
Yeah.
No.
The reason I brought that up is because I have a question here.
All right. Uh-oh.
It says,
He broke out his
what's
questions.
the scariest movie of all time? So, Bernie, you can go first. What's the scariest movie of all time to you, since you're the aficionado and scary?
Right. Well,
Everything's scary to me. So
no, that's not true. Man, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say a movie that scared me, and it's not really that good of a movie. I'm afraid of that. But there's this movie.
Are you afraid of people judging you?
Yes, I'm afraid because
Okay.
I'm the movie guy. I have
you're the
strong
movie guy.
opinions on movies. But no, there's this movie called I think it was Descent. Is that what it was called? About those.
Oh, that was a good one.
About that group of girls that went down in a
Yeah.
cave, and that movie made me jump a lot. So I would say that was probably one of the scariest. That and Paranormal Activity, just because I watched that alone in a dark room, and I kept thinking I was hearing stuff. I kept like turning around, like, is that my house or the movie? And then I just imagined doors swinging open and shutting by themselves, and I just like, you know what? I believe in ghosts, so this is freaking me out. This could happen.
That's why I don't watch those movies.
Dude,
Yeah,
they're good.
It gets in your head.
It does.
You're like,
It does.
The thrill of
especially
it. I love the thrill of it, though.
especially growing up in like the way we did, and we were taught that like spirits and things were real. So then we just watched that movie, and it's essentially what it is.
That's our worst nightmare. Happening.
Yeah,
It's like, I knew it.
it's like we believe in spirits, and then we just go invite them into our house. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's the door. Welcome to my house. Come on in.
So you can't
Here's
think like that, man.
That's why I don't watch
See,
them.
I'm more so scared after the movie than
Oh, that's the worst.
during the movie.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a jumpy part, because I'm really super jumpy person. And but after the movie is when it sets in.
So I'm interested. What's the scariest movie you've ever seen, Mallory? Or what's your scariest movie of all time?
I've only watched like 2, so
That's why I'm
so I
interested.
would say the scariest one was The Exorcist of Emily Rose.
Oh yeah, I remember
yeah.
that movie.
That's pretty good. I
We
mean,
watched
that's
it as a youth group.
Yeah.
good. Oh dear.
At Caleb's house.
Was it more of a cautionary tale?
Scared to death. I was frightened.
Did it give you nightmares?
It's The Grudge. I
Yeah.
think that was it.
Did it give you nightmares,
Yeah.
Mallory?
One of them was scary.
Did it give you nightmares?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep.
This is getting into a subject I was going to bring up last week, Nate. Like, do you believe in ghosts and or spirits or anything like that? And if you have any experiences like that with that kind of stuff, because I know I do,
Yeah,
and I would just
I
like
don't
to
know.
hear y'all's little stories about, a little ghost story or spirit story. What have you got? Or dreams or nightmares or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you my scariest movie of all time, real
Yeah, all right.
quick.
And then segue.
Yeah, it probably will.
Okay.
It was The Ring,
Oh yeah.
because I remember watching that, and this was after the Blair Witch Project came out. But I remember watching The Ring with a bunch of friends, and it was that concept of she would call you, and if you answer the phone, then you have 7 days. And this was before, like, I want to say even before cell phones and before really kind of the internet. It's probably after that, but I don't know. Anyway, somebody will tell me I'm wrong, I'm sure. But I remember getting a phone call later that night and just freaking out. Just freaking out. And I went with some of my friends from high school, and then some of the girls from our high school went as well. And then they called us. I found out later that they called us, but we were all scared shitless. Like, we were scared to death. Like, we were about to die. But I think that, again, this kind of goes back to my question of, because of the things that we learned growing up, or the things that we were taught growing up, I want to say that I had more maybe encounters. But again, I don't know if those are real things, because I can't give you a recent instance where I felt like there was a ghost or somebody in the midst of me. But I can tell you of instances of when I was little or younger in the church where maybe that happened. So I don't know. I can't say anything specific because I don't remember, but I also can't remember anything in the last 10 years that, has happened to me to make me think, oh yeah, ghosts are real, or, so I just don't know.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Mal.
I think Saul, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's hard to really speculate because you don't know which is true and which is false. But I always like the thought of, like, souls being recycled. This is kind of a thought that I liked, because it's not necessarily something I believe in, because I don't know. But I think if I die right now, let's go back 200 years. Let's say my soul lived in a different body 200 years ago, or we'll go even as recent as like World War II. Let's say I died in World War II and I was reborn and blah, 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 here I am, or whatever. But that only is a working theory if we say that there isn't like a God, and I don't necessarily believe that. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think when people see a ghost, what I'd like to think is that it's maybe souls that haven't found their way back to wherever you go.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know.
Right. What say ye, Mal?
I guess it's just your definition of ghost, really. I saw a ghost when I was a kid, and I vividly remember I was doing my hair in the bathroom, in the mirror. If you looked through and the door was open, you could see through the kitchen, and I saw the outline of a guy. And he was almost like transparent looking, and he walked from the living room into the kitchen, and I could tell like the texture of his hair and the way his hands looked and everything. And I remember it was either the next day or a couple of days after. Dad had brought a newspaper home because for some reason we had to live right beside a cemetery. So it was our house, our backyard, the cemetery.
Yeah.
So if, ghosts were going to roam anywhere, they'd be roaming around our house. He was looking in the obituaries or whatever you call it, and there was a guy that had died that they were laying his body down, or they laid his body down a couple days prior, and it looked just like the guy that had walked through the living room, or that I saw, into the kitchen. So I guess since then I had always believed that. Yeah. And
first experience, I would have burnt my house down and moved on.
I was frightened. I just froze.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I just froze.
There's a couple things that could happen in my life that would cause me to... I'd grab crew, but that would literally be it. And I would burn the house down and leave. Ghosts and spiders. I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what gets me even more than spiders right now? And I'm highly afraid of spiders. But cockroaches.
Well, yeah, because they're fucking nuclear proof. Bro, real talk. I had a buddy of mine. I watched him step on a cockroach, and this cockroach fought back. It's like get off of me. He didn't. He stomped on it, and he lifted his foot up, and it kept going. I was like, what just happened?
Did you see that YouTube video of that girl who keeps them in her house?
No. She seems like a terrible person.
That YouTube video?
No.
She keeps them as pets. Okay,
Yeah.
first y'all need to watch the YouTube video, then y'all need to watch the reaction video these two guys made.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, it gave me nightmares after watching it, though, for real. It's so scary.
Bugs give Mallory nightmares more than spiritual things.
Well, we kind of had an issue with them when we first moved into our house. Because one day I put on a shirt, and it crawled up my head. And I just freaked.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go in my closet for a while.
Yeah, burn it down and walk away.
Jeez. That's crazy. Well, those are some crazy
Wait, did you answer the
spooks and
question,
goofs.
Brian?
Oh, no, I didn't. As far as ghosts, I can't really remember any particular circumstance where I can still say it was a ghost to this day. I think I was a kid and I had a lot of imagination, but I did have a lot of reoccurring dreams that were spooky and goofy, and I used to get like these recurring dreams of a witch when I was younger, all the time. Same witch, same terrifying thing. It would just freak me out as a child and up into my preteens. Yeah, and then there's one night that really stands out, even to like I can remember like it's yesterday. I was laying in a hotel, like on the couch. I think our family was traveling. Um, I was laying on my back and I was looking up, and it was very similar to what astral projection is. Like that's what it felt like. I mean, because I don't do that, but I've read about astral projection, and it was just like that. Like I was awake, but I was asleep, and like could sit up, and I was sitting up, and then like I could see the room I was in and everything. It was like but I couldn't move, and I just remember that entity like walking through the door, looking at me, and just coming right for me like really slow, and I just remember being so terrified I couldn't move, and just like I just wanted to scream. And I just remember like it's laying its hand on my chest, this weird thing, very, very freaky. And I remember snapping out of it to my mom saying, wake up, it's time to get up. And I just remember like, she's like, what's wrong with you? Because she said my eyes were like wide open. Like, and yeah, very freaky, very spooky. And like you guys have were talking about, I think it was attributed by our upbringing. We were brought to fear. We were brought up to fear everything, basically, from demons to ghosts to spirits to even God to leaders in the church. We were afraid of our own shadow. And I think that just spawned a lot of negativity and a lot of stuff. I think a lot of it was self-created, honestly. I think maybe there was awesome. There could have been like a negative spirit coming at me, because I do believe in that. But I allowed that to mess with me, and because I was afraid, and fear feeds it, in my opinion. And once I got out of previous beliefs, I found myself getting more empowered, and I found myself believing in a God that actually cared for me and supported me. And once that happens, like you start feeling, you don't fear as much, and you get to a point to like, if I serve a God that's greater than anything, sorry to get spiritual, if that is true, then nothing else can bother me. And if it tries to, there's no way, like, you just ignore it. And that's what I've lived by for the past 15 to 20 years, and I haven't been messed with. I haven't had any experiences like that. And I think fear feeds the beast, in my opinion. And if you have fear, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I have to agree with you, because we were brought up, like, they talked about it all the time, and there was always, like, rebuking the spirits. And if you look up in scripture, it doesn't mean the same thing that we thought it meant growing up, where it was like banging your head with your hair and like fighting or warring. Because in the Bible, it really actually means to rest. When you rest, and that's actually what fights off anything evil like that trying to attack, because we're putting all of our trust in God and Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that, because it was just talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we always, we're kids, and so that's going to be, in our mind, and we'll think about it because it's scary when we're alone. And so, like you said, it feeds that fear in our minds.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that you talk about fear, and I'm trying to put it all behind me because I have a lot of anger. And a lot of it, I think, is it's easy for me to place blame, but over the past like few years, I've learned that it's easier for me to believe in karma. So if you make a mistake and there will be consequences, it's just easier for me to believe in that. So it's like checks and balances. So if you make, for every good deed, there's good things that'll happen. Bad deeds are bad things. So not to say that's true. I'm just saying, like, for this example, it makes more sense for me. So, like, we grew up our whole life, so we spent our whole formative years doing good things, whether it be warring against spirits or, fasting or fundraising or countless hours. Many relationships that I didn't have with people in my high school because no one in my high school went to my church. So it was not, I love my mom to death. We all went through it, but if it was a choice between early on, if it was a choice between like school and church, normally church won. So you talk about, fear is necessary for obedience, because if there's nothing to fear, then there's no reason for you to obey. And, a lot of that, I would say I'm not angry. Like, I understand. And I think at the core, everyone starts out with a positive motive. I think at the very beginning, they probably wanted to help people. And I think what happens is that you have to make a decision somewhere along the way of like, okay, well, how do we grow the congregation? Well, you have to make it something that you have to have a little bit of fear-based, probably. I'm not saying that's the right answer. I'm saying like that's maybe what their thought process was. So, and then they'll obey. And then if there are stakes. So I just remember growing up and there were always stakes. Like there was always something to be gained or lost. And it was always like ridiculous. But, like it's so funny because the name of the song is like, so you have fear, obedience, doubt. It's like natural progressions of things that like the three of us went through. So fear, obedience, doubt, and clarity. And I think, fortunately for us, we experienced enough doubt to allow us to open our eyes, and the reality is more clear. Or clearer. More clear? I don't know. So, like, it's something where I was angry for a long time. Mine was doubt, but mine was doubt on a level of like, I did so much good, so therefore karma dictates that I should have something good happen to me. And when that didn't happen, I lost all faith in that system that I grew up believing in. But now I think that religion is good. Religion is good. It can be good. I guess religion can be good, but it also can be very, very evil. And I think we've experienced some form of that on both sides. But I know that's a weird segue. I don't know where I was kind of going with that. I just think that it's important that we do have a lot of friends that still go to the church that, we grew up in. And I think we learned a lot of things and we experienced a lot of positives. But ultimately, when you took all the masks off and you took all the politics out of it, I think ultimately it wasn't for us and for our families, and it was kind of damaging, I think, to us. I don't know. And maybe that's what our one friend is referencing, right? Like we're definitely not in the middle about it, and we don't pretend to be, but I understand, I guess.
What do you think, Mel?
I think that saying something is wrong is okay, and it doesn't mean that you're trying to I guess talk bad or bash something another religion or belief. I think that sometimes things are just wrong or not right, and I'm trying to learn as I get older, and because I'm such a fighter. I'm such a person like for justice, and I want justice in everything. That sometimes you just don't always get that, and just knowing when to fight for something and when not to, and when to walk away. And I think that us and our family, like walking away from what we grew up in, was a learning experience, because so badly we wanted to fight for what we believed was right, because we felt so wrong during the whole process. And not a lot of people will ever understand fully kind of what we went through and why. And I think it's because a lot of people didn't have parents that were kind of at the status, I guess, that our parents were. And we were PKs, we saw a lot of things in the background. And so, I don't know, I think that I guess I'm still learning how to talk about it, and how to not be hurtful to other people, but also still express like my feelings and what I think about it.
Yeah, I think that it's tough. I will say, that's one thing I loved about Mallory, because she was on our good side, but she is very like, she'll let you know, like, if she didn't believe in something or trust you, or you made her mad, she's for sure gonna let you know. And
I'm better now.
Mallory had a lot of moxie, as they say.
Yeah, a lot of maxi.
Still does. She still does.
Yeah, you can
There's
tell
no
there's a little
had.
fire there.
Is Bryce there? He can probably tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he passed out on this.
While you were talking, Crew got up. He's sleeping in the bed. He got up, sat up, and just mumbled something and went back to sleep. That's why I was looking. I was like, "What's he doing?" He was like sleep talking over there.
Guys, how sad is it that it's our bedtime? Like, it's just sad. Like, I don't know why I'm so tired, but I look down, I'm like, oh, it is 10:47. Wow.
It's almost midnight here.
Oh, dude, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
No. Oh, we can ask one more question, and then did you watch that stand up, by the way?
I didn't get a chance, dude. I've been busy all week.
Bro,
All week.
it's so funny. Watch it. It's real good.
I
Mallory,
know.
watch it.
It's on my
Ryan
list.
Hamilton.
It's on my list of things to do.
Add it to the list. Ryan Hamilton. What's the worst job you've ever had?
My first job at Dear Dutchman. I was a
You worked at Dear Dutchman?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
He smelled like dough all the time. Like,
I quit it when I got the Hollister job.
Oh, I didn't know
with
that.
you. Yeah. It was my first job. I was the dishwasher. I worked there with Jared Delhunty.
Oh, okay, I do remember that.
And I worked there for almost pretty much a year. And
it just cracks me up.
it was the worst. And there were certain nights that Jared and I would party, and it was just like in the movies, like those cruddy country parties.
Yeah.
Like you just drink and drink and drink this crappy beer. I just remember driving. I don't want to admit this. Never mind. Never mind. I was going to say the story. I'm just not going to say it now. Yeah.
I remember Bernie worked at McDonald's for one day and quit.
No, it was a week.
You worked a week?
Yeah.
As the years have gone on, I've told that story so many times. I whittled it down to a day. He worked there one night.
It wasn't a full week. Like I worked like 3. It was like 3 days out of the week, but I worked from.
This
like,
was
that
when
Monday.
we lived in Florida.
Yeah.
He got a job at McDonald's, and they put him on third shift.
Yeah, it was from 9 at night to 9 in the morning, baby.
Yeah, baby, it was the worst.
Bad times.
Yeah. So I didn't see the night at all for that week.
Yeah. I've actually I don't think I've had a job that I hated. I worked at this place it was with your Aunt Tina, and it was a job, but it was just, of the jobs, I would have to say it was the most mind-numbing work, because we just stood in this room and we were like putting plates on like the conveyor belt or whatever, and making sure jams didn't happen. And it was what made it good was hanging out with your Aunt Tina every day, all day. And
I remember that.
Other than that, I would have quit, because it was awful. And the people I worked with didn't like me because I was like young, I guess. They were all older, and they just, honestly don't know why. I don't know why. There's this one lady there that literally hated me, and I don't know why, but she was mean to me every day. She was so mean.
Because you're Mexican.
Yeah,
That
I guess.
she probably hated her own life. She's like, I've been here for 30 years. Or stop
Thank
recording.
you guys for listening.
Yes. Any last words?
We'll be more prepared next time. We'll have some sweet tops.
Yeah.
That's short for topics.
Yeah.
Be a little more seasoned.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mal, we'll work you in. You can be a consistent guest, and I look forward.
If
to
you
doing this
want to
again.
be, no pressure.
I just